Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving deep into the world of Anime Vanguards and breaking down the latest tier list for the game. If you haven't heard of it before, Anime Vanguards is one of the most popular tower defense games on Roblox. You collect anime-inspired warriors and use them to defend your base against waves of enemies. Without the right strategy and the best units, survival can be a real challenge. In Anime Vanguards, every unit plays a different role. Some are powerful attackers, some provide support, and others help control the battlefield by slowing or stunning enemies. A tier list ranks these units based on their strength, utility, and overall effectiveness in battle. Some characters are absolute game changers, capable of wiping out waves of enemies or taking down bosses with ease. Others, well, let's just say they struggle to keep up and might not be the best choice for high-level play. That's why we're here, to break down which units will carry your team to victory and which ones might need a little extra help to shine. Alright, D tier is where we find the units that are, let's say, not quite ready for the big leagues. These guys are like the rookie players who show up to practice with mismatched socks and a dream. But hey, every team needs a bench warmer, right? Our D tier units are Gari, Lufo, Mimi, Psychic, and Naruto. Let's break them down. Gari. Inspired by Gaara from Naruto, he's all about sand control, trying to block paths like he's building a sandcastle at the beach. His damage? Let's just say it's as weak as a sandcastle against a tsunami. Use him early on to funnel enemies into kill zones, like directing traffic at a snail's pace. Place Gari where he can herd enemies towards your heavy hitters, but don't expect him to win any MVP awards. Lufo. This guy's probably Luffy from One Piece, stretching his arms like he's trying to grab the last slice of pizza from across the table. He's great at pushing back enemies, but his damage is so low, it's like trying to win a fight with a wet noodle. Use Lufo to manage enemy flow, keeping your damage dealers safe from the chaos. Think of him as your crowd control bouncer, not your knockout punch. Mimi, Psychic. Maybe from Digimon, Mimi's got mental powers to slow or confuse enemies, like she's trying to hypnotize them into taking a nap. Her damage is practically non-existent, but she can support your team by debuffing, like the friend who always forgets to bring snacks but tries to help set the table. Pair Mimi with high damage units to make her utility shine, like a sidekick who occasionally remembers the map. Naruto. Similar to Naruto, he's fast and can zip around the map like he's late for ninja school. But his power is limited, so he's more of a messenger than a warrior. Use him for quick responses rather than frontline combat, like sending a text instead of showing up in person. Deploy Naruto to handle unexpected threats or cover large areas, but don't expect him to carry the team. Moving up to C tier, these units are like the middle school basketball team. Decent, but they need a lot of coaching to shine. They're solid for specific strategies or budget builds, so let's meet Janus, Genitsu, Inosake, and Karem Chilled. Janus. Inspired by Genos from One Punch Man, he's got high damage, but is as fragile as a glass cannon. Place him behind tankier units or he'll shatter like a dropped smartphone. He's great for quick bursts, like a microwave dinner. Fast, but don't expect gourmet. Protect Genas with tank units to keep him alive, or he'll be out faster than you can say upgrade. Genitsu. Possibly with lightning abilities to stun or slow enemies, he's like the DJ at a party, controlling the vibe but not the main event. His damage is moderate, but his control abilities are valuable, like pausing a video game to catch your breath. Use Genitsu to manage enemy movement, creating synergies with other units, like pairing him with a damage dealer for a dynamic duo. Inosake. Inspired by Inosuke from Demon Slayer, he's a tank with high health, ready to take hits like a punching bag at the gym. Perfect for the front line to absorb damage, he's your meat shield, not your sharpshooter. Place Inosake at the front to soak up enemy attacks, protecting your damage dealers like a bodyguard for a VIP. Karem Chilled. Uses ice abilities to freeze or slow enemies, like he's trying to turn the battlefield into a skating rink. Great for controlling the pace, he's your traffic cop, not your race car driver. Use Karem to slow down enemy waves, giving your units more time to deal damage, like hitting the pause button on a hectic day. B tier is where we find the reliable workhorses, the units that show up on time and get the job done. Think of them as your dependable friends who always bring the snacks. Our B tier units are Agony, Alligator, Bean, and Blossom. Agony. Deals damage over time with poison or status effects, like he's slowly leaking a bad smell into the room. Ideal for wearing down tough enemies like bosses, he's your slow cooker, not your microwave. Use Agony against strong single targets to chip away their health, like a persistent mosquito you can't swat away. Alligator. Has powerful attacks but is slow, making him effective against bosses like a tank rolling into battle. Keep him safe from being overwhelmed, or he'll be as useful as a paperweight in a hurricane. Position Alligator where he can attack without being in immediate danger, like parking a bus in a safe spot. Bean. Fast attacking with low damage per hit but high speed, he's like a hummingbird buzzing around, trying to clean up the mess. Perfect for clearing swarms of weak enemies, he's your vacuum cleaner, not your power washer. Use Bean to handle minions and preserve stronger units for tougher threats, like saving the big guns for the big fights. Blossom. Area of effect attacks make her great for clearing crowds, like throwing a party grenade. Place her where enemies are most dense, or she'll be as effective as a solo dancer at a rave. Position Blossom in areas with high enemy traffic, maximizing her impact like a DJ, dropping the beat at the right moment. A tier is where the stars shine, the units that can carry you through challenging levels. They're like the MVPs of the team, ready to steal the show. Our A tier units are Akazo, Cheyenne, Dave, and Emmy. Ice Witch. Akazo. Inspired by Akaza from Demon Slayer, he deals high damage with speed, like a ninja on caffeine. Use him as your main damage source against bosses, or he'll be as bored as a cat watching paint dry. Place Akazo where he can directly target high priority enemies, like aiming a laser pointer at the biggest threat. Cheyenne. A support unit that can heal or buff other units, she's like the team mom, always making sure everyone's okay. Crucial for keeping your team alive, she's your first aid kit, not your weapon. Place Cheyenne near units that need support or are taking heavy damage, like a cheerleader rallying the troops. Mojado. In his base form, he's balanced and can fulfill multiple roles, like a Swiss Army knife with a few rusty blades. Use him for his versatility, especially against fast enemies, or he'll be as confused as a tourist with a map. Mojado can be a jack of all trades, so use him where needed most, like a utility player in a pinch. Emmy, Ice Witch, uses ice magic to freeze enemies, providing excellent crowd control, like turning the battlefield into a freezer. Use her to lock down key areas and stop enemy advances, or she'll be as useful as an ice cube in a snowstorm. Position Emmy to control critical paths or protect your base, like setting up a roadblock at the right spot. Finally, S tier is the elite, the units that can turn the tide of battle like superheroes swooping in to save the day. They're the ones you dream of pulling from a gacha. And our S tier units are Alucard, Vampire King, Chasso, Blood Plague, Dave, Cyber Psycho, and Diogo, Alternate. Alucard, Vampire King. Inspired by Alucard from Hellsing, he's got high damage and self-healing, like a vampire who never runs out of blood. Nearly unkillable in prolonged fights, use him for solo missions or holding off waves, or he'll be as bored as a vampire at a blood drive. Deploy Alucard in situations where he can withstand heavy enemy pressure, like a tank in a zombie apocalypse. Chaso, Blood Plague, spreads disease and decay, dealing area damage and debuffs, like he's the plague doctor of the battlefield. Use him to weaken groups of enemies, making them easier to eliminate, or he'll be as effective as a cough in a windstorm. Place Chaso where enemies group up to maximize his debuff effects, like spraying bug repellent at a picnic. Dave, Cyber Psycho. An enhanced version of Dave with better stats and abilities, he's like Dave 2.0 with a turbo boost. He's even more versatile than his base form, excelling in multiple roles, or he'll be as confused as a robot at a dance party. Use Dave, Cyber Psycho, wherever you need a powerful all-around unit, like a Swiss Army knife with lasers. Diogo, Alternate. An alternate form with superior abilities, standing out with unique powers, like a secret weapon in your arsenal. Use his special abilities to turn the tide of battle, or he'll be as underutilized as a spare tire. Position Diogo, Alternate, to utilize his unique skills effectively, like unveiling a surprise attack at the right moment. And that wraps up our tier list for Anime Vanguards. Whether you're just starting out or looking to refine your strategy, knowing which units to prioritize can make all the difference in your gameplay. Of course, tier lists are just a guide. The best way to win is to experiment, adapt, and find what works best for you. As the game evolves with new updates and balance changes, some units may rise or fall in the rankings, so stay tuned for future tier lists and updates. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on more Anime Vanguards content. Also, let me know in the comments, which units are your favorites? Do you agree with this tier list, or would you rank things differently? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And I know so many different powerful characters in the game. If I added all the characters, I think the video would be about 30 minutes long. So I made the choices that made the most sense for me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.